what law firm you work for?
Yeah, Robbins, Kelly, Patterson, and Tucker.
Okay. And what area of law within that do you work with?
I do family law and litigation. I did just family law for a while, and then I recently started with a litigation attorney also.
Okay. Can you tell me what a typical day for you would be?
Yes, now that's a loaded question
Yeah,
because no day is the same as any other day, but we start out the day by getting our attorneys their reminders. So they have to have 3 different ways that they keep track of deadlines, at least for litigation because it's so deadline driven. So we have to get them their reminders very first thing in the day, and things we'll set up the reminders differently, like we'll have like 2 weeks in advance and 1 week in advance and the day before. There's always stuff left over from the day before because it's always, it's a job where your desk is never clean, you're never like finished. So it just depends on what we have. If we have like a divorce case that we're filing, then we fill out those forms online. So a lot of times like I will have started them and then I'm working on those. Or if the attorney's in that early, then they may like dictate something where they'll just record their voice and then I will type it up, whether it's like a motion or like a longer letter to a client, not just like enclosed please find, but like something with like substance in it, then they might dictate that. When the mail comes, we do all of their mail, and a lot of times it's pleadings that have been filed in this particular case, or it'll be like letters from opposing counsel. And then Marty, the attorney that I've been working with for a while, who does family law, we have a meeting once a week where we go through every single one of her matters, and we'll kind of say like where we're at with those. And a lot of times there's things I've been working on that she'll be asking me like where I'm at on those, or you know, did you remember to follow up on this? Or she'll give me things to do, like will you do a letter to them for this, or I think we need to file something on this. So we go through that. So every Monday morning we have those meetings, and that pretty much gives me enough work for the week.
It's kind of nice to sit down every week and kind of update each other on where you are with
and all
everything.
the attorneys are different. So like I say, that's a typical day or a typical week in my case, but the other attorney that I work for in litigation, he's a little more, like I don't feel like he depends on a legal assistant as much as my other one. Like with Marty, I could tell you what's going on in every single case at any given time. And with Rick, it's not quite the same way. He'll still give me like motions to file or letters to do and stuff, but we don't have that weekly meeting.
What would you consider to be maybe a pro of your occupation, or a pro of
so much. I love the area of law that I work in, family law. I love the attorneys that I work for, and I love my coworkers, and I like being downtown where everything's going on. So yeah, a lot of pros.
Okay. What about cons?
We could definitely use more Jean days.
That would always be a great one.
But
yes.
Other than that, there's nothing. I like the people. I like the atmosphere. It's just really high energy, and there's never a dull moment, of course, in family law. So it's some interesting cases, interesting clients. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Sounds like it always keeps you on your toes, which is great. Now, what about like a work-life balance?
That is the hardest part, for sure. When I was in student government here, Kim Ellison was the director of student life at the time, and she was in charge of this activity that we did with middle school kids. It was just an activity where we had different balls. So there was probably, I'm going to guess, 20 of us all together with the student government officers and then the kids that were there. And each ball that we had a different label on it. Like one said family, one said homework, one said friends, one said work. What you did was you had someone who would throw the ball to you and someone who you would throw it to. So we all stood in a circle, and each person, well, 5 of the people had a ball, and each person would throw the ball to the person they were supposed to throw it to, and then you would throw it to the next person. So ideally, you can keep all the balls up, you can keep them going all at the same time. But you know, every once in a while, someone would drop a ball, and Kim would pick it up, and she's like, "That's family. You really don't want to let that fall, but you know, it'll be okay while you're doing your homework and your work." And so you just try to keep it going, and I feel like I learned a lot more from that exercise than the kids did. I feel like that is definitely the hardest part, to keep all your balls up in the air at the same time without letting something drop, or figure out what's more important, what you can prioritize, what can be on hold for the moment, or that's definitely the hardest part.
So how many hours a week do you work on average?
I work 40, but I'm there from 8 to 5, so I have an hour lunch break, which downtown you kind of need if you're going to go out, and I have to have that break too, no matter how busy I am, or if I'm making up time because I'm taking Friday off or something. You know, I'll come in early, I'll stay late, but I've got to have at least that half an hour just to like regroup, and for sure,
Okay.
So I work, but I have a pretty long commute because I am downtown. So I leave my house
Okay.
between 7 and 7:15, and I get home about 5:45 or 6, depending on traffic. So while I say I only work 8 hours a day, or I only work 40 hours a week,
Right.
I'm gone from 7 to 6, and
Okay.
it's a long
yeah.
day.
Anything else that you think that I should know as somebody going into this type of position?
Yeah, I was warned about this, and I feel like they warn you, but you never really know that there's always so much work. And if you're a type of person like, I want to have everything done and I want to get done, and that never happens, and I
That's
can't
me.
stress that to
Yeah.
you enough. There's always like too much work. There's always more than you could possibly get done in that day, and that's good, you know. I mean, everything gets going, everything has deadlines, everything just comes up randomly, and you know, you just go with it. And it's hard. I remember one week I was actually covering for somebody who was out on a hysterectomy, so I had some extra work, but there was one day where I just stayed 2 hours because there was just so much stuff, and it's hard to sometimes tell what's more urgent than something
Right.
else because a lot of things are urgent.
Yes.
And so I stayed for 2 hours over, and then my boss emailed me the next day and was like, I see that you had 2 hours of overtime. You try to let me know in advance if that's going to happen.
Right.
But a lot of times you don't know,
Right.
things come up last minute. But yeah, so there's always so much.
That is very good to know.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people too, but yeah, like you said, I think you got to get to a point where you come to terms with the fact that sometimes that pile will be smaller at the end of the day, but it won't be gone entirely. Well, I appreciate you meeting with me.